Welcome back. The government plans to impose a value-added tax on basic necessities to education and health services. This is considered an effort to increase state revenues amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The government plans to impose a value-added tax on basic necessities to education and health services. This is considered an effort to increase state revenues that have been reduced due to the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. Economists assess education services, medical services, and foodstuffs do not deserve to be subject to VAT. As for the policy discourse, it seems that it should be implemented when the economy is able to recover. However, even under normal conditions, the imposition of taxes on a number of sectors is inappropriate, including VAT on education services and basic necessities. In fact, under current conditions, the sector should be given subsidies. IDX Channel reports. And viewers, to discuss it further, already connected via Zoom, Executive Director of Core Indonesia, Muhammad Faisal. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mas Fajar.
Yes, regarding the leakage of the government's plan to impose VAT on basic foods, we know that this is a very high on big issue these days. But what do you see, and what is, in your opinion, is it appropriate to charge VAT to this category?
Okay. First of all, to be fair, we need to have a look at the complete draft of tax reform first that the government proposed to see the complete comprehensive picture, not just the VAT, but also other taxes. But, however the proposed tax structure would be, the tax system should still consistent with the aim to induce economic growth and distribution of wealth. If higher tax rates will potentially reduce economic growth, even though it may increase government revenues. And then, if taxes are imposed on basic needs, it will contradict with the government effort to reduce poverty and income inequality. So the government should be consistent with the principles of basic needs, that basic needs consumed by majority of the people, especially the poor, should be exempted from taxes. Not just considering the current condition, which is still adversely impacted by COVID-19 pandemic, but also because of the potential increase of poverty, even when the pandemic can be contained later. So imposing VAT on basic needs such as rice, eggs, etc., in my opinion, is not appropriate, either during the pandemic period like today or post-pandemic.
But if we can see this government's plan, what is the main reason or the urgency of this VAT imposition, in your opinion, sir?
Yeah, I think the urgency is because the government is currently looking for ways to increase the revenues, especially after the pandemic has been contained. And currently, because of the pandemic, we see that the fiscal health, we see that the deficit is increasing, and the government is aiming to reduce the deficit to be disciplined below 3% of GDP.
Okay, but can't we see other ways to achieve that goal? If we as a government to achieve increasing or higher state revenues, can we see other ways?
Yes. In my opinion, if the government wants to raise tax rates to increase revenues, I think the better way is through progressive rates on income tax rather than the VAT. Even though the VAT is multiple, it's designed to be multiple. Why? Because currently the rich getting richer and the poor is getting poorer as a result of the pandemic. And secondly, also finding new sources of revenues, extensification. For example, imposing progressive rates on land and property, which can have also a positive impact on economic growth and income distribution. And finally, I think it is very important is the accountability of tax officials. Yeah, it's very crucial because tax collection in Indonesia is self-assessment. So trust of the tax subject is very crucial. That means every corrupt practice found will reduce the trust of the people to pay taxes. And thus, this will make the government effort to increase revenue more difficult.
Okay, but in the same time, sir, the government say that this is intended for principle of justice by applying multi-tariff, but can we agree with that?
Well, If this is designed to impose, for example, rice, it is imposed on premium rice and meat, there may not be a direct impact on regular or non-premium basic needs, but we should also be aware of the indirect impact. An increase, for example, an increased price in certain items of people's daily needs may affect the price of other needs. For example, in the past, when the government increased salary for civil servants, frequently the price of basic needs also increased. And similarly, an increase, for example, of fuel or gasoline price usually have an impact on the price of basic staple foods as well. When that happens, it will still reduce the purchasing power of the majority of the lower income population, not to mention the poor.
Okay, we think that we got your points, and I hope, and we hope, of course, the government will consider it more carefully. And thank you so much, sir, for joining us, because our time is limited. That we will continue it next time.
You're welcome. Thank you, man.
Okay, stay with us on Market Headlines. We will be right back after this quick break.